A tip just surfaced claiming Nancy Guthrie is deceased, yet it wasn't delivered to federal investigators. The authorities were completely bypassed. Instead, the message was leaked directly to TMZ. The information contained in that note is so staggering that I had to stop everything to film this update. We have reached day 66, meaning Nancy Guthrie has been missing for over 2 months. On the very same morning her daughter Savannah stepped back onto the Today Show, set after her long absence, 2 fresh communications from the same individual popped up in TMZ's inbox. This is the same mysterious sender who has been reaching out since February 11th. The initial message asserts that Nancy is no longer alive. However, the second note claims she was spotted alive. One source, one day, one recipient. These 2 statements are mutually exclusive. Let's examine the first message. The writer alleges Nancy Guthrie has perished and claims to know the location of her remains. They also insist they can identify the kidnappers and pinpoint their current hideout. They are offering to reveal everything in exchange for half a Bitcoin, which is roughly $35,000. Take a moment to really consider that specific amount. The original demand was $6 million, before dropping down to $70,000. Now, the asking price is just $35,000. The ever-decreasing value placed on Nancy Guthrie's life reveals a lot about the person behind these messages. They want half the funds transferred up front before sharing details, with the rest following a public arrest. The individual also maintains they played no part in the actual abduction. They claim to have been living outside the United States for more than 5 years. Their stated motive isn't greed, but rather a desire for a financial cushion to restart their life. Here is where the narrative shifts, as a second message arrived just a few hours later. It came from the same source, but the details took a completely different direction. They wrote that they spotted her alive with her captors in Sonora, Mexico, a state bordering Arizona. That location is only about 70 miles from Nancy's residence in Tucson. This marks the first time any tip in this investigation has named a concrete location or a specific border region. That is a massive development. It is the kind of lead that gives you hope. But there is a glaring problem with the logic. The first note says she is dead, while the second says she was seen breathing. The same individual authored both claims on the exact same day. That massive inconsistency is precisely what caught the eye of a former FBI professional. If you are following this mystery and want to stay updated on what happens next, subscribe and hit the bell, because this case just took a turn that no one anticipated. The details within these messages completely redefine our understanding of the situation. Jason Pack is a retired supervisory special agent with the FBI. He has spent decades analyzing these types of criminal communications and ransom notes. After reviewing these new updates, he spotted several red flags, starting with the timing. These tips arrived the same morning Savannah Guthrie returned to national television after 2 months away. Pack noted that legitimate witnesses do not typically track media cycles for dramatic effect. If someone truly knew Nancy's whereabouts, they wouldn't wait for a TV premiere. They would contact the feds. They would be reaching out to crime tip lines immediately. You don't send a tip to a celebrity gossip site on the very day the victim's daughter returns to work. The second major red flag is the contradiction. You cannot claim someone is deceased while also claiming they are alive. One of those accounts is an absolute lie. If the sender is being dishonest about the most vital details of the case, why would we trust anything else they say? Warning sign number 3 involves their specific approach. PAC was quite blunt. Mailing tabloids instead of calling the Bureau destroys any shred of their potential credibility. True witnesses contact the police. Legitimate sources don't haggle with news outlets or offer burial sites for digital currency. The way these letters were actually delivered suggests a clout chaser rather than someone holding a real missing piece. Even TMZ called this source totally relentless. That's their description. This person's been spamming them since February 11th. We're talking nearly 60 days of noise. 8 weeks of evolving demands and claims that keep shifting. During this entire window, the FBI hasn't made a move. 0 handcuffs, no field searches, and no confirmation of any raids in Mexico. Media reports say the feds aren't buying it. Not 1 cent has entered that digital wallet. 0 activity. That account is dry. If they truly had answers, someone would have paid by now, yet nobody has. That speaks volumes. But here's why the situation is actually more complex. This isn't the initial extortion attempt, and some were actually legitimate. Let's analyze the timeline of events. The debut letter arrived February 3rd, 48 hours after Nancy vanished. It went straight to the Guthrie home, bypassing the press entirely. They wanted $6 million in crypto. It contains secret details about her outfit and the struggle during the snatch. Savannah Guthrie stated publicly on March 26th that those early threats were real. The Bureau took those leads seriously. They monitored the accounts and tracked the entire digital footprint. They even looped in Mexican authorities. Those leads were substantial. Then the focus shifted toward the gossip sites. The February 11th message asked for one single Bitcoin to identify the culprit. The abductor didn't write. This person claimed to be a witness. Now, 2 more arrived April 6th. The asking price is tanking $6 million down to $35,000. The cost drops while the stories get wilder. Life versus death. Mexico, burial sites, hiding spots. You see the pattern? The family's letters were early arrivals packed with verified facts. Only an insider knew that stuff. These TMZ letters are late arrivals, full of holes and contradictions. Nothing holds water. We have 2 separate players with 2 separate goals. The first set seems authentic. The second, total fabrication. Feds can tell them apart, which is why they prioritize the family's mail. They pursued those leads internationally while ignoring the tabloid noise. 0 official action taken. Former agent Jennifer Coffendorfer gave a very harsh critique of these recent developments. She was direct and pulled 0 punches. She dismissed them as total shams. 0 logic, 0 truth, just noise. She figures this tipster is just fishing for cash, exploiting a tragedy that has the whole country on edge. Meanwhile, Pima County Sheriff Department stuck to their usual script. They claim every lead gets checked and handed off to federal agents. The Bureau hasn't touched these yet. Nothing public suggests they take this mystery sender seriously at all. Allow me to piece this puzzle together. Our first deep dive detailed how federal authorities track every single digital coin from that initial ransom demand. Every cent is flagged. Every crypto wallet is under a microscope. Our second report explored why that $1.2 million bounty hasn't broken the silence. It's blind loyalty or pure terror. 66 days in, here we are. Now a shadowy figure is blowing up media inboxes claiming inside knowledge on Nancy. They say she's gone, then Mexico, then offer closure for $35,000. Curiously, they avoid federal hotlines or anonymous tip programs entirely. Their narrative shifts and crumbles with every single new message they send. Here is the real kicker for you to consider. If Nancy was spotted in Mexico, why bypass the authorities? Why haggle with a tabloid for cash if you actually know where she's buried? And if there is a shred of truth here, how does she go from deceased to alive between the first and second letter? Both can't be real. The author is clearly playing games. This is a scam, but it gets even darker. These manufactured leads just cloud the path for real investigators, burning through vital time. It's just static offering fake optimism followed by crushing letdowns. It grants Nancy's real abductor a breather, while everyone chases these messy, conflicting fairy tales. Big mystery is whether the writer is a lone fraud, or if someone else is pulling strings, hoping that a stalled media circus aims to bleed this entire tragedy dry. Drop your theories below. Is this a legit lead or a sick hoax? Is it a greedy predator hunting for a payday? Offer families grief while the kidnapper watches from the dark? Check our breakdown on why that $1.2 million reward hasn't worked yet. It sheds light on the hidden forces keeping everyone quiet in this nightmare.